Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back, my friends, to the channel that never ends. I'm so glad you could attend. Come inside, and get comfortable, get cozy. It's that time where you're gonna stir your coffee, clank it, sweeten it, and grab a snack. Adjust your lazy boy chair, your office chair, your cheap work chair if they're abusive and don't give you a nice ergonomic chair, because you're going to focus now. Pay attention, because this is a video unlike a video I've ever made before. And not only that, this video I'm going to announce the winner of the giveaway Zuma robot, and I decided to have a consolation prize, a runner-up prize. So you're going to have to bear with this video and you're going to have to catch it wherever I may decide to inject that. So if you're comfortably ensconced in your seating position and your contrast is adjusted, your colors are well saturated, and your eyes are honed in, because now I'm in control of what you see, and I'm going to kick back with my Pure Leaf tea, because this was closer in the fridge than the Snapple Peach. I'm going to discuss the book that for me started it all, and I'll tell you why it's important. And it has some tips for collectors. So, like I said, this is unlike any other video I've made, and I didn't script this. I didn't prepare anything, so we're going to wing it together. It's almost like a watch party. Instead, it's a book. So let me tell you about this book. This is BatteryToys by Brian Moran, The Modern Automata. This particular example is the first edition. Now, for me, this was the first exposure to these beautiful, freaking awesome Marx whistling spooky kooky trees. So right off the bat, you know, when I first started collecting in 1986, where maybe some of you were just like wee little tots, and I was very young myself, but old enough to start collecting. So before I found any literature, anything at all, and I didn't have a lot of money to collect back then either. You know, I bought my first toys in 86, and I'm like, where do I find more of these beautiful, shiny, metallic wonders? So in a bookstore, I came across this. So keep in mind, this book at the time was 2 years old, and it had sold out really quick. So it wasn't as if, you know, it was sitting at your local Barnes and Nobles or at your Borders books. I don't even think they had Borders books in 86 when I found this book. So anyway, I fell in love with the cover, right? That's when I first even discovered that these trees existed. So, and let me tell you something too. The author, Brian Moran, by sheer happenstance, now keep in mind, I started collecting in Florida back in the mid-'80s. I actually ended up meeting and becoming with his brother, Gary, on Long Island, God, probably 15 years later, just by sheer coincidence. So this, what a small world we live in, you know? And he told me some good stories, and I didn't realize at the time this was all one person's collection. It was the Griffith collection, which I didn't know at the time. So it makes sense now when you see all the toys on the shelf. So, you know, one of the things in the book, right, that to me was important, look at how groovy that is, right? Psychedelic. Brian gives you a tip that is actually very pertinent to today. Here's just the table of contents. I'm not going to get into every page because this is really like a picture book in all honesty. Here's the 1984. So he was like my guru, you know. I was like, this guy is amazing. And I'm just going to get to, like, one of the things I like about his explanation and his advice, his tips, was he tells you over here, you know, condition, rarity, things like that, that makes toys desirable. And then down here in the corner, he tells you there's certain toys that will have crossover appeal. And he uses like a Mickey Magician as an example. It's desirable because it's a good battery toy, it's a comic character toy, or a Santa bank, because, you know, banks are also collected by bank collectors as well as battery toy collectors. So again, keep in mind that the title of this book is Battery Toys. So we're not talking about tin, friction, and wind-up, which is funny because F.H. Griffith had a massive collection. This is really just a fraction of his collection. And it's funny here, you could say like, well, if you have the box, if it's meant, a box can, you know, add up to 50% or 25% of the value. Now we know that boxes sometimes could add 100 times the value depending. So he gives you some care tips here, you know, but that stuff you could find yourself. Now, here he shows you some motors. Now, the one thing about Brian, he made some customs, and that's one thing that intrigued me. Here's some of the customs that he made. So these are the common bartenders. So he made this magician version, which is really cool. He has the fortune teller in the head. It almost reminds me of that Disney, I forgot her name, in the crystal ball, and also has a rabbit that pops out of the hat over here. And then he made a Jekyll and Hyde that you could see here. The head, the normal face pops up, you know. And this is the one thing I've always considered before I ever saw this, or actually I had probably seen it subconsciously and never even really thought about it. But I had, you know, thought to myself, man, the bartenders would make great astronauts because you could stick a ray gun in their hands instead of those martini glasses. So he actually was very early on in doing this. So anyway, let's get into some of these toys. He starts off with the animals here. So imagine, again, this is like, he published this in 84. So now we're in 2023. So we're getting close to freaking 40 years ago. And, now, to put it in perspective, between when he published it and now, more time elapsed than when these toys were actually photographed their actual age. So in other words, these toys were fairly young when he wrote this book relative to 2023. So we've had almost 4 decades elapse. But you can see here, he starts off with some monkeys. These are kind of common here. Then he has buttons. I have a buttons. It's in a box. It's huge. Buttons is a finicky toy. It's so big and it's not worth very much for some reason. I don't see the Dancing Chimp version as often. I used to see it. He says here it's a late 70s toy. But I don't know if I would buy it because, again, I have the buttons and it's a real clean one. And it works. I did the video on it, but I'm not going to display it. I don't know why. I mean, I think it's all right. It has a little bit of spotting. And again, keep in mind, the book came out in 84. He might have photographed these toys in 81, 82, right? So definitely 40 years ago. And you have a lot of glue that maybe dried and spotted more. In other words, like some of the plush toys have these spots that's caused by the glue just drying out over the years. So it may not have reached that stage yet, but it definitely may have impacted in the 40 years ensuing since he photographed these. But that's not why. The buttons, it doesn't have really the panache. The talking parrot was kind of neat. This let's see, I got to pay attention because as I'm talking, I'm not really looking at the page, but talking parrot actually would record your voice, which was really cool. You hit a button on the tin base, the head turns, the tail flap, the eyes lit up, and the tape recorder actually recorded what you said, and then it would play it back to you. So that's kind of a cool feature. I'm assuming it used one of those records, plastic records. So I don't know the duration, how durable that toy was. These flutter birds, I've had these on and off. I actually just bought a beautiful mint in box example from Milestone Auctions. I haven't opened it yet. I'm assuming it's mint. It looked mint in the pictures. The flutter birds here, it's an unusual toy that has 2 plush birds that fly up and down above a tin birdhouse as the third bird moves and chirps in the door and the light on the birdhouse illuminates. It's a very cool toy. It's kind of rare. And again, I haven't, there's a ton of toys I haven't displayed at the collection so far. These are some of them. These are more plush toys, fairly common. Dogs, I don't have these. We used to buy, when I say we, collectors would buy dogs with the normal remotes just to crib the remotes because they were the same remotes used as the robots. Obviously not the fire hydrants. And so therefore we orphaned a lot of dogs. We depowered them, unfortunately. I feel bad in a way. I don't think they were trashed, but that's what they were. They were donors, and they were common and plentiful. So, and it's funny because when you think of Griffith's collection, right? These are like such common toys here. Over here you have a rooster. I don't even know if these are necessarily battery toys. Now over here you start getting into something a little more interesting. Allie the alligator has a very cool box. It looks like it's in a cage. The circus lion is cool because you could whip it. I believe you hit it. And again, look at the plush. The fur is really nice on these. The turtle, I don't think I've ever had the turtle. It's kind of cool. It looks like the eye probably lights up. And the tiger, I would probably have as a monster toy. But again, they're not like super rare. And my monster case is pretty full. So it's not something I'm going to go after. So now we get to like some cool stuff here, because over here, let me go down. Whoa, you got the Yeti, which obviously I have. The albino gorilla, which I have. And the roaring gorilla. So like if you look at his description, on the Yeti, a plush and tin remote control toy. He walks, stops, raises his arms, lets out the most amazing screech you'll ever want to hear. And that's freaking true. I see, it's how funny is that? Like I made the video and that was my observation about the screeching. And nice litho on the remote control. So he doesn't even really show the litho. It's that cylindrical litho on the Yeti. The albino gorilla walks, moves, mouth growls, and his eyes lights. One of the nicest lithograph remote controls. Yeah, I'd say that's cool. And this is kind of the roaring gorilla is a target game. You hit him and his arms raise up, the eyes light up. And, this is probably the reason why I've always bounced between, the robots and space toys were my focus. But originally I started just the whole broad umbrella, the canopy of battery toys. So I wanted all of them is what I'm getting at. And then at one point, I think it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, I decided to just get rid of all the battery toys and focus exclusively on robots in space. And boy, do I regret it, because, getting back that Popeye tank, for instance, cost me a boatload. But, at the time, that's what I decided to do. But anyway, over here you have the caterpillar, fairly common, baby Bertha, the two elephants. Kind of nice, neat. Fun toys. Here's some common bears, the balloon blowers. The balloon blowers don't really work all that well. I'm going to try to back it up so you can see. And then the rocking bears are pretty nice. I like them. I have the black Smithy bear. He's pretty cool. Now, obviously, I think I did videos for all this. My short on the dentist bear is great. But again, if you look here, man, that fur is so nice. You don't have any of the spotting. And here he's got the barber bear has the winky eye version there. I believe my beauty parlor bear has the winky eyes, and over here it has the regular eyes. And the reading bear, the way this works is it has a magnet that picks up and flips the pages. I'm actually more familiar with the wind-up version as opposed to the battery version. So I have to pay attention because it's probably something I'd like to get at some point. But yeah, his eyes light up. He sits on a tin base. I mean, I'm telling you, I fell in love with these toys. When I saw them, it was like I had to have them all. Now I'm a little more selective. And here is, again, common, the Barney bear, the Pete the drumming rabbit, the musical bear. So these are things I just can't fit. I'd like to have them. The boxes are cool, but I probably wouldn't. Over here you have Hoopy Duck. One of the problems with Hoopy Duck, and again, I'm admiring his fur. This is, again, Griffith's toys. And when I think back to the Sotheby auction, a lot of these battery toys I actually don't remember seeing. So maybe he sold these off. But Hoopy's feet, these rubber feet, normally crack. So it's one thing to pay attention if you ever want to buy a hoopy duck, make sure that these rubber feet aren't cracked in, in pieces. Because once they're gone, they're gone. I don't know if anyone's making replacements for them. And then you have these fishing bears. I believe the fishing bears do use, if I'm not mistaken, maybe it's a regular magnet or the electromagnetic magnet, whatever you want to call it. But I have a couple of versions of these, and they made a lot of these, the fishing toys. They're actually very cool. The fish are tin litho. Now you have a lot of these Cook toys. These are just 3. There's a Cutie Cook. There's the hippo. There's the male versions too. I mean the human versions. Burger Chef. I believe. I'm not sure. I've had that on and off. Like I've sold it. I've had it. I've sold it. I've had it. I may have gotten another one. I can't remember. It's one of those things I don't have displayed. So, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't have this version of Cutie Cook, though. This is one of the rare versions to get, this Cutie Cook. Usually any of the ones called Cutie Cook would be the ones that you'd want to get. And here, of course, is the Piggy Cook. They actually ended up reproducing this toy, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they picked the Piggy Cook, the most common version, but they did for some reason. Maybe they had the parts left over. You got a couple of telephone bears here. Now, I believe I have the VIP Boss Bear, the Bear Cashier, which I like. I like just for the tin on this. It's got a ton of tin. It looks small compared to this, but it's just the positioning. They're both very big toys. If you were to flip this toy sideways, it would have the same width of that. And some people... I'm not going to say, there's just some people aren't fans of these toys. I love all these bear toys, especially the ones, the more tin, the bigger the base, the more lithography. I think they're great. Linemar Music Hall, I have that. It's one of the great ones to get. Just the size of that piano is fantastic. It plays a simple but an actual song. Then there's this little pianist one. I don't think that plays an actual song. It just makes like a little bell sound. And then I have the musical bulldog. And that I have displayed at the collection. I believe I have the music hall and the musical bulldog. I have to double check if I put that in one of the display cabinets. If I didn't, shame on me, because that's a great toy. But I definitely have that one. He's cool because he blows out smoke too. The musical bulldog. Did I do a video on him? I'll have to look back. And see if I did. And this video is going to be long, by the way, so yeah, you're stuck if you want to know who won that contest. You're like, damn, this guy's not going to tell us. Here's a couple of rock and roll monkeys. Let me go back here so you can get it in frame. So you have 2 versions. One has the vinyl face, which is here. This has like the plush face. At first, I always kind of gravitated towards the vinyl face. I thought it looked cleaner and nicer, but now I kind of like them both. They're just very cool. The way they play the guitar and strum, they're cool toys. My son, who's a musician, I always felt like, to me, he is a monkey. So I feel like one day I'm going to get him one of these toys. But they're both very attractive. And then, of course, you have these bongo monkeys, a couple of different kinds. So you could actually create your own ensemble, your own bank. Here you have a couple of sneezing bears up top, 2 of them. They actually have Kleenex. So they have Kleenex on the box, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're a like advertising fan of brand, you collect the brand, you might want to find the ones that say Kleenex on there. And you have a knitting bear. Rembrandt monkey is a really cool, fairly hard to get. I've had that, I sold it, so something that I'm going to try to get again. I really like the Rembrandt monkey. He is awesome. Nice actions on him. It's like he paints the pictures. You have a couple of vacuum bears. Now you have the bear and the rabbit and the bear. So there's 2 versions of this, the housekeeper. The one with the lute is more desirable. They call this attachment back there the lute. So they have it just with the stand-up upright vacuum like this. On the bear. I'm showing you on the rabbit, but the bear has this. And then they have the one with the lute, which is, excuse me, a little more desirable, a little harder to find. All right, give me a sec. I better have my drink here. All right, let's put that down there. I know where I'm at. Wow, we're 20 minutes in. I'm going to get through this whole book. So up here you have, you know what, I should have gotten a light. You know what, stick with me a sec. Sorry, I'm going to grab a light. Maybe it'll make the pictures a little better. I'm coming, don't abandon me. All right. Let's see if this makes a difference. That's a little better. Probably thinking, why the hell didn't you do that before? Well, I didn't think of it before. All right, we went over the sneezing bears. So, now we're on to these telephone bears. Well, there's some glare from the lights, so let's see if we can make that a little better. So, one thing I will tell you about the bears. So you have the candlestick phones, which are actually more common. So in the bear world, if you want the best bear phone, telephone bear, you want the one with the princess phone. That's this style phone. Not that the candlesticks aren't cool. I think the candlestick phones actually look better, but for some reason, the princess phone is harder to find, so therefore it's more desirable. Now, when you come down to this, and I've done two videos, because I've shown you two. I don't know if this light's going to really make a big difference, but so these rocking bears, they're okay, but the Jolly Bear with Robin, see, he called it birdwatching bear. So I don't know if when Brian made this book, like if he had access to the boxes, because it's Jolly Bear with Robin, and then which is very rare, and then the other version is the Jolly Rabbit with Robin. I'm not quite sure he, had the name, because like I don't know why he wouldn't have called it by the actual name. If I ever run into him, I'll ask him. Maybe I'll ask his brother. So, but out of these 6 bears, Princess Phone, Jolly Bear with Robin, that's the ones you'd want to get. Bubble blowers, all pretty common. Out of this here, you'd want the kangaroo probably. They're all cool though. Like this is all tin. He's all pretty much all tin. I like them all personally. This guy, I've had him a couple of times. Sometimes you see him dead mint. A lot of times you see him dirty. He's very, very common. You can probably pick up a nice boxed example for $100. I think the bubble washing bear is pretty cute. That's nice to get. And the dog, I don't really see that too often, quite honestly. So, probably if I came across it, I might just grab it. Let me. I'm gonna have to look at how this light's affecting everything here. We're almost halfway through this, so. All right, the Royal Cubs, not too hard to get. The feeding bears and the spanking bear, fairly common. I see a lot of spanking bears. Let me move this. So this isn't. I'm finicky with this light, so bear with me. Now, the rabbit carriage, I don't see as much as the Royal Cubs. So if I had a choice, I'd probably go for the rabbit carriage. I like the litho better there. It's just cute. It looks like it has a bee on there or something. Or it says he's holding a carrot. Maybe that's the carrot. The spanking bear actions are actually pretty cool, though. So then you have Playful Pup, and then there's one called the Puzzle Pup. The Puzzle Pup is the rare of the two versions, so you'd probably want the Puzzle Pup. Lion Target Game, you have 2 versions here. This is the one that I think is more common, so I'd go for that. All right, you have the bubble blowing bear and the bear target game. Not particularly hard. Hard to get them in, super clean condition. Now the fox, these are 2 of my favorite toys. I was so stoked when I first got them. I have both of these versions displayed. But even here, I'm going to try to get this close. Maybe instead of moving the book, let me move it. Just zoom in. You can see here the spotting already started. So keep this in mind. This was 19 84, maybe the pictures from 82 to 83, so 40 years ago, and you still had spotting. Which, you know, makes me feel okay because I have a lot of spotting on mine, and it's tough, and I thought mine were fairly clean. So, you know, it's tough to get this toy with a perfect face. You know, as much as I love this toy, and I have them both like right now, and I have them in the display case here in the collection. Maybe if you guys want, I'll walk. I don't know why. If I was live streaming, I guess I'd get an answer. Maybe I should have done this as a live stream. This would have been a perfect live stream. Here's 3 rabbits, picnic bunnies. If you're a completionist, you want all 3 colors. I used to see them a lot more often than I do. I can't imagine what the fur looks like now in 2023. A little dingy. And the other thing with fur toys, plush toys, they start to shed their fur. They go bald, you know, so it's like your dog at home. The fur starts coming off, gets patchy. So you want to be careful of that because, you know, you open up a box, all of a sudden there's like fur everywhere. And these are all fairly common though. If I should just stop and then do a part 2 because we're at 26 minutes. That's what I might do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop, which is, it's not going to be too much longer. Let me see here. Yeah, I'll stop and then I'll do a part 2. And then if you guys like this, I'll do a part 2 with the robots and space toys, and then that I can tie in with the Sotheby's catalog. So over here you have drumming one-man bands. Again, I see these. They're not particularly rare. Let me zoom back out now because I'm still zoomed in. You know, it's not something I would buy now because, again, it's a space issue for me. But if I had them clean, mint, boxes are very colorful. They're good-looking toys. I hate to see them fall by the wayside. And same with this. Everything here is fairly common. I mean, this is a good entry point if you were going to, you know, kind of get into the vintage battery toys. Any of these plush, they'll kind of get you hooked. Now over here, Bobby Drinking Bear is desirable because he has what people feel are like, is like a Pepsi bottle, I believe. I zoom in on, it's hard to do it. Boy, this book has been through the ringer. I mean, this book's been with me for like I said, since 86. But anyway, that's the bear to get. Jocko the Drinking Monkey. So this is where I feel like that's his name, Jocko the Drinking Monkey. So he obviously had the box, you know, because he named these correctly. So when, you know, in the case of, like, say, the Jolly Bear with Robin, he probably didn't have the box. But he has 2 versions of these. I don't see this version as often as I see this version. This is kind of like the Scottish version, like the Critical Drinker. Is he Scottish, or what the heck is he? What is a brogue? Or is that an Irish brogue? These bears here are fairly common. But I do like Maxwell Coffee Loving Bear. They, you know, great tin litho stump. A lot of tin on this toy. Because he's black, you won't see the spotting. So I would say that's another good entry point if you want to start collecting. Super Susie the Cashier, very classic, desirable if you get her. The one thing to be careful about with this toy is the conveyor belt's rubber and it'll crack. Now the conveyor belt works and all these groceries will keep spinning around, so it's kind of cool and you want that thing to work. Teddy the Artist is also very cool. I have Teddy the Artist Dead Mint with all its plates. It actually has these metal templates that feed into a slot over here, and it actually directs this crayon to, he actually draws like a butterfly or a dog or a pony through these metal things, and this arm follows the pattern that you put into the slot. He's very cool. I mean, I have it with the sealed crayons and everything, so I probably would never open it. But it would be nice to see him actually draw. Maybe you can get like substitute crayons if you don't want to mess with the original ones, like in my case, that are still sealed. So all 4 of these toys, the Traveler Bears, also a little bit tough to get. And I believe, you know, kind of on the rarity scale, tougher than usual. And so I think he's kind of desirable. Even Sleeping Baby Bear. He's fairly common, but again, very desirable. He's got that nice clock with the smiley face. The hands move. It's just a very cute toy. A lot of tin. You got this whole tin bed. He'd be one of the, Super Susie. At one point used to be like $1,000, $1,200. I think now you can get a nice Super Susie, $600 to $800, mint in the box. So if you have an opportunity to pick up a Super Susie, you'd be making a super deal. Yeah, but all four of these would be great in a collection, in my opinion. Here's some cart toys. Teddy Go-Kart, common, inexpensive. All these toys here. Cabbage, Porter. The popcorn toys are really good. Out of all these three, popcorn, probably the duck is the best one. Now, this is incorrect. Like, one of the things I haven't noticed in years and years that I've owned this book, popcorn duck has a nice umbrella, so that's wrong. I don't know where they got this flag from. So I guess even Griffith had a compromise sometimes. Then you got Jolly Peanut vendor and your popcorn vendor there. So these are cool. This, I don't know what you call that thing up top, light or whatever. It's kind of like a vent for the smoke or something. That falls off often, so be careful because that could be missing. And kind of ruins the look of the toy if it's not there. But these are cool. Mac the Turtle, I'm not a turtle guy. It reminds me of Mitch McConnell. But, if you like turtles, I guess you get a Mac the Turtle. They're not super rare. But out of these, I think the popcorn duck, because it's all tin body, is probably the coolest. If you get the right umbrella and everything. Oh, terrible here. Go back this way. So over here we have... Now, this is Yum Yum Kitty. And Yum Yum Kitty is really cool. She lifts the fish to her mouth, makes a chewing sound, and then rubs her stomach, and the eyes light up. That's just a cool toy. I like it. I used to have it. I don't have it now. I'd probably try to get another one. Jolly Bambino eats nuts or candy, whatever it is. That's a cool toy. A picnic monkey, it's all right. I don't know. I never warmed up to him. I've had him once before. I have Hungry Cat, and technically you could, I guess, put water and the goldfish swim around and the cat tries to paw it. I don't know who puts water in there. Suzette the Eating Monkey, I have that. I actually bought that and I was supposed to have a original box and it turned out to be a reproduction. I wasn't too happy. It is what it is. But she actually eats a steak, which is kind of funny. The monkey eating a steak instead of like a banana or something. But it's high up on the battery toy collectors list. Not super high, but they like a Suzette. Professor Owl is one of my favorite. This toy is, I think, beautiful. It has two big discs, a blue one and a red one that's shown in there. Let me get a little closer. Fix this light. He's a stunning toy. Absolutely stunning. I'll actually pick this up for this. There. All 10, he moves his arm. He's like the professor teaching these kids, and that disc revolves, and it just shows you all these different things that he's teaching his students. Ball-playing bear, very cool. This used to be like a $2,000 toy, then all of a sudden it's just kind of like, it's not as rare as we thought. But it's still pretty cool, and, it still gets $700-800. Jungle Trio, classic, one of my favorites, too. And then you have your Feeding Bird Watcher. I actually have these three in my case here at the collection. So, I mean, I like them that much. I could change this out for Flutterbirds, but Flutterbirds is too tall. Over here you have some musical. The Bruno accordion bears, it's all right. I like the this version of the bear because of the micro. This is the battery holder, and it's just really slick. They made it a microphone stand. It's a nice lithograph tin, beautiful. So if you're gonna get an accordion bear, that's the one you want. The trumpet bears and saxophone monkeys, they're all right. This here, kind of common stuff. Nothing really to get excited about. Same with here, except for Lady Pup tending her garden. That's pretty cool because the flower lights up, the petals open up. It's kind of a neat trick, and I can't get... I should have done this. You know, I need like 3 hands here. So she's cool. Out of all these here, I would get Lady Pup tending her garden. And over here, I should have done this before. Teddy Boxing Bear's pretty cool, but Cinny Bear is fantastic. It's a great toy. It has these weird bloodworms that shoot out of the camera. I think I've done a video on Cinny Bear, but he's definitely one to get. And then the Shooting Bear is pretty cool too, just because of the motion. He lifts up the gun. It looks like he's sighting it. Then he shoots and smoke comes out. So those I would get. The other ones are just fairly common. Teddy Bear Swing, common. The Haiku Monkey's fairly common, big. That's something I would get. Now here's your Cutie Cook, the hippo version, the rare version. And the rest of these fairly common. Drinking Cat, I think I did a video on too. Now over here, out of all these, Mighty Mike is probably the one to get. He lifts the weights. It's actually a cool motion. He drops the weights, he lifts them up. You got your Happy Band Trio, which is big. It's cool, but it's big. I have one. It's a big box. It's hard to display. It's not that expensive. It's not even that common, but because it's a later. It's a 70s toy. So most people don't have it. And I have both versions of these. These are great. The actions of these are fantastic because the dog and the lion jump out and roar. Like the dog barks, the lion roars, and the monkey and the clown, they scamper back up the trees or the pole, their respective thing. Great, great action. And in person to see those, I'm going to have to make a video of those. Those are fantastic. I have the clown and the lion. That's harder to find. I have that displayed, although I have them both. And then finally, we get to people. I have the Serpent Trimmer. That's a beautiful toy. Look at that. It's all tin litho. It's fantastic. You know what? I'm going to end it at that. I'm going to pick up at people next time. I don't know how many people we have here. We have quite a bit. So we're in almost the 37-minute mark. And I think next time I'm going to pick up, this is part 1. I'm going to pick up the camera like I did to show you the pictures a little better. But this is just kind of like a informal discussion and give you my 2 cents on the battery toys, you know. Even though I'm focused mostly on the robots. And we'll get to it. After the people, that'll be part 2. That might be quicker. I don't think there's as many people as there are toys. As animals. So before I sign off, though, this is the part where I announce the winner of the Zoomer. The beautiful blue Zoomer, which is wrapped up and ready to go to its new home. So I did the drawing randomly, and I didn't do it on camera, so I will just announce it now. The winner of the blue Zoomer is Gold Dalek. Contact me, and you will have the blue Zoomer shipped to you. You can email me, or if you're on Alphadrome, you can send me a message there. And I decided to have a runner-up, and the runner-up turned out to be, and what's the runner-up prize? It's this beautiful musical drumming robot that's stamped with the official collection logo. And these were from, I believe I got these in the 90s. And they're very cool. Let me open it up and show you. The winner of the runner-up prize is Crazy Cat Lady. So, Crazy Cat Lady, you can just contact me. There's an email link. There is your beautiful, beautiful little mini musical drummer robot. How's that for cool? And that sound you heard falling was the original key. And this is brand new and never used. And I gotta tell you, the lithography on this robot is spectacular. I mean, this is a little mini wind-up version of the very rare and desirable musical drummer robot by Nomura. So, congratulations to Crazy Cat Lady and Gold Dalek. So that is my part 1 review of BatteryToys by Brian Moran. I know it's kind of wonky. It's the first time I'm trying something different, but I want to review some of these books and talk about the toys. This is probably something, like I said, that's better suited for a live stream. So if you like this, if you actually bothered to pay attention, you know what? I will I will do it as a live stream, and provided I can hold everything, and that's going to be the challenge, to figure out how to hold it and show it. When the camera's pointed straight, I can kind of at least see what I'm doing. If it's pointed at me, it's going to be a little hard, unless I could see what's on the camera. So thank you for sticking with me this long. I mean, 40 minutes, good grief. But again, if you like it, let me know. Thumb up the video, and what I'll do is either do a part 2 regular like this, just tape it, post it. Part 2, we'll look at the people, maybe the monster stuff. Then we'll get to the robots. And when I get to the robots, I'll conclude with, we'll look at this famous auction of his collection, which was in 2000. So you figure maybe, 16 years after this book came out, maybe 18 years after they took those pictures. And I'll tell you, the only reason he sold is because he passed away. Because F.H. Griffith was not the kind of guy that sold. It was his family, the estate, that sold everything. So hope you liked it. And again, I'll look forward to your input. So I'll know if you like this. Maybe we'll consider other books. Once we get through Battery Toys, we can look at some of the other books. And the other books will be easier, like Kid O'Hara's 1010 Toys. It's a picture book, man. Those are easy to flip through. So thanks again for your time, man. I hope I entertained you for 41 minutes and 9 seconds and counting. With that, don't forget to please subscribe if you're lurking. And I appreciate all your time. Thanks again, my friends. I will talk to you later. Hey everyone, I decided to add some of the battery toys that I do have at the collection on display. Since I mentioned what I displayed and what I don't. And I guess I was wrong. The Barber Bear, first of all, is what has the winky eyes. And I'm trying to avoid the people because that's coming on the part 2. So that was your Barber Bear. Here's your Beauty Parlor Bear, the rarest of them all. And then, of course, is your Dentist Bear. We go down here, you have your Shooting Bear. There's your bear with the Princess phone, and a bear that F.H. Griffith did not have, and that's the super rare Bear Magician. There's your Cine Bear. There's your Traveler Bear. Anything else back there? I think that's it. You know what? I could probably sneak another bear behind them. So yeah, I got to do that. You won't be able to see it unless you crane your head around. But yeah, I could probably fit one more bear toy. So that's good to know. This cat's actually a battery toy. Another one that F.H. Griffith didn't have. And when we go down here, now this isn't a battery toy Trixie, but the rest of them, here's that beautiful Professor Owl. And I do have some non-battery toys mixed in here, but there's the Fox. Now one of them is the Bubble Blower, which I didn't mention. Yeah, that's the Bubble Blower, is that one there with the yellow tie. And the Bubble Blower tended to rust because people actually put the bubble blowing solution in there. And I got the boxes back there. Let me see if I can hone in on. Yeah, Professor Owl has a cool box. They're very whimsical, the battery toys. I really like them. Total change of pace from the sci-fi stuff. And you can see the faces on my Fox. They're actually not as bad as I remembered. So, and by the way, the Bear Magician, I have to find his glasses. He has glasses like these guys. So I have to find those. Yeah, the faces could have been worse, But look at your Professor Owl. Now, these are things I had never made videos of, so I'm going to have to make a video of them. And look, I have the same picture in there, the steamship, I think. That's what they have. And down here there's your Jolly Bear with Robin. Or that's actually the Jolly Rabbit. There's your Bear Cashier. There's your Beauty Parlor Bear, which is very rare. And I guess Griffith didn't have that. And there's the boxes, too. Makeup Bear. There's the Jolly Bear with Robin. The Jolly Rabbit with Robin. Here's your cat. The Hungry Cat. And they need 2 Robins. And there's the bird. So if I could have fit Flutter Birds, I guess I would have put it in here. And then down in here, I have your Teddy the Artist. There's your Clown with Roaring Lion. And then there's your Peanut Vendor. So I'm going to go this way. There's your... So I don't have the Line Mar Music Hall displayed. I will show you the Mickey Magician. I don't think I've done a video on Mickey Magician, not the battery one. I did actually the rare wind-up. And then over here you have your Bear Savings Bank. I don't believe I saw this in the Battery Toy book. There's your Snake Charmer and your Jungle Trio. So that's it, my friends. That's a look at the animals. And I have other rare stuff that, I guess I have a lot more rare stuff that Griffith didn't have. So there you go. That's it, man. That's a peek at your, at the collection, some of the cases. So thanks for joining me. Now I just extended that 40-something minute video to probably close to 45. Anyway, thanks. I'll talk to you guys later.